Hello and welcome to the introduction to a new therapy for health and energy. My name is Richard Clark, and please note, I'll read this just to make sure nothing gets missed. I'm not a doctor or physician or medically trained in any way. I'm not a therapist or trained in any therapies, complementary or alternative. Nothing here in this ebook is meant to be a replacement for proper medical diagnosis and care by your doctor, physician or healthcare professional. If you're on any medication, please stay on it and follow professional medical advice regarding your health. If you have any concerns about your health, please see your doctor or physician. If you're unhappy about using the therapy in this book, then please don't. And the therapy may be used as well as any medication, not in place of. If you start using the therapy and feel unhappy about it for any reason, then please stop. Some of the materials used in the therapy can be toxic and will always be used and should always be used in plastic bags. The materials I'm thinking of here or talking about here are disinfectant and detergents. So that while they're ordinary household items, please be careful with their use. No material should ever be consumed. This therapy is not about taking anything by mouth, so please do not consume anything. All you ever do is place materials into plastic bags and place the bags on certain areas of your body. There will be follow-up videos demonstrating this. If you're doing anything other than placing plastic bags on your body, then you're not doing it right. Please follow the instructions in the book carefully. Wash your hands after use, or use gloves, and work in a well-ventilated room. This is because when the therapy is working, a person's body can start to release quite powerful toxic energies. And if there are other people in the room sitting there, their bodies can start to absorb this. So it's much better to do it on your own and just have the windows open, or sit close to an open window so the toxic energy goes out the window. Right, now I can't obviously guarantee any results with the therapy, but I've been using it for many years at different stages of its development, and I am pleased enough to create a book showing the therapy and to do all this to get the information out there. That's why this is a free book. It's just about getting the information out there. I don't do this for a living. This is just my hobby, my interest. Although, as I say, it's gone on for most of my life, and the things that have been found out and discovered are fascinating, absolutely fascinating, beyond what you could imagine. Beyond what I imagine. It's a constant surprise to me, the things that start to appear and what they show. Right, so nothing can be guaranteed, but if you consider how it works, you'll perhaps start to see the benefits. Our bodies absorb a lot of what I think of as dead energy. This dead energy comes from sources mainly produced by industrial pollution. This would be fossil fuels, oil, gas, coal. And if you think about it, these fossil fuels are from dead substances. They started off as organic, and the material has died, the organic material has died and been converted over time into a fuel we can use. And the burning of the fuel not only releases the energy out into the air, it also makes it stronger. Now, our bodies, as the book explains, are made to absorb energy from our surroundings. This has got a number of reasons, but one of them, the main one I think, is so that our bodies can stay in balance with our surroundings. We need to know what's out there in order to stay harmonised and balanced with it. And to do this, we draw in energy, which is information about our surroundings, and we process that information and our bodies adapt to our environment. Great. It's great when the environment is clean, when it's clean energy. The problem arises when the environment isn't clean, it's full of dead energy. And dead energy in this sense is not only its point of origin is dead, but it's dead to us. Our bodies cannot use this energy. This energy will not impart vitality to our energy systems. Our bodies can't use it. Worse than that, it clogs up the body. The amount of this energy, I'm talking about massive amounts. It's a surprise to me about how much of this congested sludge is drawn out of people in the first, using part one of the therapy. It's amazing. It can go on for hours getting out this stuff because we've been absorbing it for decades and our ancestors were absorbing it, and unfortunately where they left off, as it were, when they passed on, is our starting point. So if they're heavily contaminated with this dead energy, when we're born, we begin life heavily contaminated. We carry it on. So over the generations, things are getting pretty bad. So part one draws out this energy. So people will feel relief quite soon. I'm talking overnight, a day or two. Because once the energy's out, the pressure's off. And this dead energy has two aspects. One is it can congest our bodies. It causes heavy congestion, which gives rise to conditions where congestion is a factor. Things like asthmas, migraines, arthritis, allergies, all kinds of things. So there's that aspect. Now there's another aspect where this energy actually reprograms or changes the way our bodies work. Although we can't work with this energy, it does have this ability. It can change our bodies inside. And that is another major problem, and that again gives rise to illness and various conditions. This is all set out in the book. What I'm hoping to do with the book is kick off the beginning of a study. Obviously I'm going to go on for as long as I can. I have done so far and I will continue. But it's going to take more people. It's going to take generations. There are so many illnesses, there are so many different aspects that all I can hope to do is point to a start and say this is the start, this is what we need to do, this is how we get it going. And other people will come in and start studying it and working things out themselves. There's so many different avenues to explore. Having said that, the therapy is very powerful, is very effective. I'm very pleased with where it is at the moment. So as you can see, drawing out dead energy has a powerful effect on health because we've taken away something that is very harmful and very damaging. So there's two aspects to health. One is what is wrong with the person, and the other one is their level of energy in relationship to what is wrong. Now, when a person is ill, their energy levels of dead energy are going to be very high. So by withdrawing the dead energy, which can also be a factor to the illness, but by withdrawing the energy and then replacing it with living energy that the body can use, the energy level of health rises. And because it rises, it can then start to work on whatever's wrong. It might well be that the energy that was withdrawn was a major factor in the condition, in the illness. I remember when I first started using this drawing out the dead energy technique, I was pleasantly surprised when people were saying, well, it's gone. I'd say to them, how are you? And they'd say, well, it's gone. And I'd be like, gone? What do you mean gone? All we were doing was getting rid of the dead energy so we could look deeper and see what else is there. Now, I always felt there was something else needed, and that became part two, which was putting in the living energy. See, I never used to think in terms of dead energy and living energy. I used to just think in terms of getting out what we can't use. There was all this pollution in people, so we need to get that out. So we get that out and then finding out what was going on. So part 2 is the living energy, and living energy comes from living things. Fairly obvious statement. Batteries are used because our bodies are effectively walking batteries, which is quite interesting. And we use electrical energy in just about everything. I didn't realise how much we use electrical energy, stored electrical energy, not mains energy, battery energy, which is completely different process. But I didn't realise how much our bodies use this energy until I started putting in electrical energy in people and then watching all the different things that the body would do with it. The body has a great need for electrical energy, which is of course not just fascinating, but it's a tremendous asset to us to know this, because the body will put this to use. The basic underlying idea behind the new therapy is to give the body what it needs. Not to force something on people, not to force something on the body and make it work, not to have a technician with a technique that needs to apply it. Simply to say, okay, there's a deficiency of energy, here it is. And then it's placed on the body. And then the person's own body decides whether they're going to draw it in. Once they decide they're going to draw it in, the body decides how it's going to use it. This is critical. There is no force. There is no pressure. Only the body can sort itself out. The idea of the energy is to give the body what it needs to sort itself out. How far it can go with different conditions, well, that's got to be further explored. Some people will do better than others because there is a factor or an element of being ready. A person has to be ready to move on from whatever's wrong with them. There is this element of readiness. But there again, we are human beings, we're not machines. You cannot just press buttons and you get a result. It's up to a person in themselves to be ready to do whatever's needed in themselves. The body will go so far, but the person has to be ready. Okay, so electrical energy, well, it's debatable if it's living. I often wonder this, is electrical energy sentient in any way? It's an interesting way of looking at things. But I'm talking specifically about battery energy. Okay, so the main place to use part 1 is on the ankles, inside the forearms, the back of the neck, the throat, to draw out all the dead energy. And because the lower back isn't used in part 1, the lower back, which is a main area for putting in living energy in part 2, can be used in part 1, so you can get a move on. You can start to get the processes going quicker. If you want to do it in 2 parts, that's fine. If you decide to use the lower back early on, then you'll need more materials. It's very much down to how much materials you've got. The idea of therapy is to make it as, obviously the therapy, the information is free. It's a free book and it always will be. Right? I'm writing other books that will be paid for books, but they're on different subjects, different level. They're more to do with what happens as the living energies start to move through life and start to change us at different levels. But the therapy will always be free. Always. And the basic idea is to make it as inexpensive for people as possible. Right? That is key to this, as inexpensive as possible, because I've worked on people who are suffering, who are in pain, who are in darkness, right? And I have absolutely no wish to exploit these people. Nobody would. And more than that, it has to be simple, it has to be easy, it has to be something they can use, because if you're ill, you probably can't work, and if you can't work, you're not going to be earning a great deal of money. You're going to be living on what you can get. So it has to be as inexpensive as possible. That is paramount. Right? We have to buy some of the stuff, it's unavoidable. Unless you believe in Santa Claus and you're going to get a Christmas present, something like that. We're going to have to buy some of it, but even then, some of it, hopefully, is you're going to have in your cupboards anyway, for your washing and stuff like that. Okay, so the first part is to get out the bad energy or the dead energy, and the second part is put in the living energy, which comes from things like batteries, oils and living things, living substances. There is another aspect to transferring the energy from vitamins and minerals into a person to regenerate the vitamin and mineral energy in our bodies. It's, as I say, there's a lot to it. But the therapy itself is very, very simple, very, very easy. If you've got to this point, I'm about to finish, so if you've got to this point, well done, congratulations. I can be reached, there is an email in the book, excalibur2015@gmail.com. You'll see it in the book, and I do hope you'll give it a try. As I said at the beginning, you can't guarantee anything, you have to be stupid to guarantee anything, but I am happy to put this out on the internet for people to use and to discover how it works for themselves and even add to it. As I said, this is just a starting point. People are very creative. Once you've got the general idea, once you've picked up on it and you can see what the benefits of energy are, which I haven't really covered here. I haven't really covered. This is an introduction. But once you can see the benefits of the energy, you'll start to realise what a tremendous boon to us all it is. Okay, I'm at the end. I think that's everything. If you've got any feedback or any questions, send me an email. If you do get some success, let us know, and if you want to use it on others, feel free. It'd be great. Okay, thank you very much for listening to this. I'll get ready and I'll get prepared and do some demonstration videos of the therapy. Thank you very much.